jana bhalabha giribhara dhare. Gopi jana bhalabha giribhara dhare. Jashodanandana braja jana ranjana. Jashodanandana braja jana ranjana. Jamuna tira vanachare. Jamuna tira vanachare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajacharya Ashtotara Shata Srimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajacharya Ashtotara Shata Srimad, His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to Shishiguru and Shigauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 16, entitled, Lord Parasurama Destroyed the World's Ruling Class. Text number 35, but we read from 32 to 35, right? No, just 35? 34? 34 and 35, okay. I'm going to take it all the way to the end because there is, it's just about to be ending. So, I read 34. Well, let me read 35 together and then we'll read it all together. 1 second, the computer is not cooperating. Text number 35. Jestan manta drisam chakrus Tvam ambancho vayam smabhi Vishwamitra shuta aham Viravantu bhavishyata Je manam me nugrinanto Viravam tan akartamam Jestam mantra disram chakrus Tvan avancho vayam smahi Vishamitra shutan aha Viravantu bhavishyatha Je manam manugrihnanto Viravam tam akartamam Jestam mantra drisham chakrus Tvam avancho vayam smahi Vishamitra shutan aha Viravantu bhavishyata Je manam me nugrihan Je manam me nugrihnanto Viravantam akartamam. Please chant. Yestan, the eldest, Mantradrisham, a seer of mantras, Chakruhu, they accepted, Tvam, you, Ambachaha, have agreed to follow, Vayam, we, Sma, indeed, he, certainly, Vishwamitra, the great sage Vishwamitra, Shutam, to the obedient sons, Aha, said, Viravantaha, fathers of sons, Bhavishyatha, become in the future. Yea, all of you who manam, honor, me, my, anugrinantaha, accepted, Viravantam, the father of good sons. Akarta, you have made. Mam, me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thus the younger Madhuchandas accepted Shunatshekpa as their eldest brother and told him, quote, "We shall follow your orders," end of quote. Vishwamitra then said to his obedient sons, quote, "Because you have accepted Shunakshepa as your eldest brother, I am very satisfied. By accepting my order, you have made me a father of worthy sons, and therefore I bless you. I bless all of you to become the fathers of sons also." End of quote. Purport. Of the 100 sons, half disobeyed Vishwamitra by not accepting Sunakshepa as the eldest brother, but the other half accepted his order. Therefore, the father blessed the obedient sons to become the fathers of sons. Otherwise, they too would have been cursed to be sonless melechas. I'm going to read from 34 to the end of the chapter. Text number 34, translation. When the elder Madhuchandas were cursed, the younger 50, along with Madhuchanda himself, approached their father and agreed to accept his proposal. Quote, "Dear father," they said, "we shall abide by whatever arrangement you like." Today's verse again, the younger Madhuchandas accepted Shunakshepa as the eldest brother and told him, "We should follow your orders." Vishwamitra then said to his obedient sons, "Because you have accepted Shunakshepa as your eldest brother, I am very satisfied. By accepting my order, you have made me a father of worthy sons, and therefore I bless you all to become the fathers of sons also." Text number 36. Translation. Vishwamitra said, quote, "O Kushikas, descendant of Kaushika, this Devarata is my son and is one of you. Please obey his orders." End of quote. O King Parikshit, Vishwamitra had many other sons such as Ashtaka, Harita, Jaya, and Kratuman. Text number 37. Vishwamitra cursed some of his sons and blessed the others, and he also adopted a son. Thus, there were varieties in the Kaushika dynasty, but among all the sons, Devarata was considered the eldest. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 9th canto, 16th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled, Lord Parasurama destroys the world's ruling class. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurube Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasavutale Shrimate Romapada Swami Dinamine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasavutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So we're hearing the narrations of these great personalities. Actually, everything is very, very, very connected when we go into what is called the genealogical chart of the creation from Lord Brahma. many of these personalities were very, very close from in generations. Just were like maybe 2, 3, 4 generations from Lord Brahma when he started his creation. So many of these personalities appears in Satya Yuga and extended into Tetra Yuga. And they're all pretty powerful and important personalities in the history of the universe. So we hear in this chapter, well, throughout the 9th canto, we hear all this dynasty that came from the sun god, Swayambhuva Manu. From the Manu, Swayambhuva, and then into Vivaswan, and then Ishwaku, etc., etc. You know, the Sun dynasty, and all these great personalities that appear all the way to Lord Ramachandra. But also hear of these other great sages and personalities, and they all very much connected. So during the Ayodhya Yatra that recently we were part of, His Holiness Romapat Swami actually elaborated very much into much greater details on the story of many of these great personalities and how the whole thing ties out. And based on the narrations of the Valmiki Ramayana, and also taking from some of the other bona fide narrations of the Ramayana, but mainly for the Valmiki Ramayana. And there is some appears to be a contradictory stories, you know, in some of the narrations as given here by Srila Sukadev Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit in the Bhagavatam, and what appears in the Valmiki Ramayana. Our Vaishnava Acharyas don't give great importance to what appears to be contradictions. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, he comments in one of such instances in which this contradiction of narrations appears. He quotes this verse that His Holiness Romapat Swami emphasized very much as is, you know, presenting these narrations and these stories, you know, according to the Bhagavatam, to the Valmiki Ramayana, and other narrations of the Ramayana that appears in the Puranas, specifically the Vavishya Purana, in which there is a very, very important section that is called the Adhyatma Ramayana, which is, you know, is narrated by Srila Vyasadeva. So these are all accepted, authorized narrations, but sometimes you hear these discrepancies. So Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan commented, he concluded with this verse, Tat idam kalpa vede naiva sambhavyam, which means that these are eternal pastimes that appears in different kalpas. And variations may be there, but the essence, the principles that are there to talk by the personality of Godhead in these particular leelas that are eternal, they remains the same. But some details, you know, get changes, you know, like that. So not to be considered a discrepancy, rather is, you know, a much greater vision on this the eternity of the past tense of the Lord and how they appear, through different cycles of yugas, like that. So, the connection, you see how wonderful the connections of these personalities that we've been hearing in the Bhagavatam for the last few months. From Lord Brahma, specifically, right here we're hearing about Vishwamitra Muni. We just heard about Lord Parasurama. And there's a close connection between Vishwamitra Muni and Lord Parasurama, in one sense, and comes with this genealogy chart. From Lord Brahma, one of his mental sons, he had several of them, his name was Kusha. Kusha has 4 sons. One of them was named Koshanabha. Koshanabha, also known as Kushik, which is what we're hearing here, the what is Prabhupada say here, the dynasty of the Kaushikas, or Kushi. So this was, so from Kusha to Kushanabha, and then Kushanabha have this powerful son. He was the emperor of the world, a king. His name was Gadi. Gadi had a daughter whose name was Satyavati. Not the Satyavati to be confused with later, that was the mother of Vyasadeva that appeared in the Mahabharata. This was back in Satya Yuga. Satyavati, who was known as Kaushiki. So Satyavati married this great sage, Richika Muni. She desired to have a son, and Richika Muni, powerful sage, he fulfilled her desire, and he said he will create this celestial sweet rice, similar to what was given to the King Dasarat. But he will create this celestial sweet rice that she will take, and she will conceive a son, a powerful Brahmana. And she said to her husband, Richika Muni, would you do the same thing for my mother? The wife of King Gadi, they don't have a son, and they need a son to actually, carry on the dynasty. A powerful Kshatriya. So Richika Muni agreed. So with his mystic power, he created these 2 pots of celestial substance, sweet rice. One of them was charged with this sattva, this goodness, Brahminical goodness, to conceive a son that was going to be a powerful Brahmana. And the other one was surcharged with Kshatriya powers, to conceive a powerful Kshatriya. So he gave the 2 pots to his wife and said, instruct her, one is for your mother, one is for you. So this one is for you, this one for your mother. Now, the mother, she had this thought, I'm sure her husband, the husband of her daughter, will put in the pot of his wife, a much better son with better qualities. It will be much better. The son that she will conceive, the substance was to be for a better son. So she thought, let me switch. So she switched the pots. So the mother took the one pot that was to conceive a Brahmana, And Satyavati took the pot to conceive a Kshatriya. Richika Muni could see that by his powers and told Satyavati, I'm sorry, but you will have a son that will be a powerful Kshatriya, that will be actually sort of cruel in one sense. Well, powerful Kshatriya. And she freaked out a little bit. I mean, it was they were living as sages, and she was, Muni. So she freaked out and begged her husband, please save me. And he said, okay, by his blessings, I'm going to pass that for your grandson to be like that. So they have 3 sons, Satyavati and Richika Muni have 3 sons. One was Jamadagni, one was Shudakshepa, and another one I can't remember the name. Oh, it's here. Hold on. Shunka. So Jamadagni was the father of Parasurama, that we just hear the narration. And Parasurama was the son that, although in a family of Brahmana, was a powerful Kshatriya. By his pool was to be a powerful, fearsome Kshatriya. The mother, or the wife of King Gadi, had a son who was Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra, although born as a Kshatriya, and a powerful Kshatriya became, his pull was towards to be a Brahmana. So you have these 2 stories, that it was touched in the previous classes, about Prabhupada quoting one of the purpose, that how, by quality, you're to be considered, either a Brahmana, a Kshatriya, a Vaishya, etc., etc. So, Vishwamitra and Shunakshepa were related. Shunakshepa, this is where it differs. Valmiki Ramayan has a different twist to the story. We hear it in the Ayodhya Jatra. In this story from Srila Sukadev Goswami, the sons, the request was to accept Shunakshepa as the son of, like adopted son, and the eldest of all the sons of Vishwamitra. So they disobeyed, they got cursed, etc., etc. We heard that. In the Valmiki Ramayana, the story goes like this. There was a great king in the Ikshvaku dynasty. His name was Ambarish, not to be confused with Ambarish Maharaj of later. This was in Satya Yuga. And no, I can, not the same Ambarish. I can't remember where it was, but this King Ambarish was to perform an Ashwamedha sacrifice. And as he performing the Ashwamedha sacrifice, guess what happened? Indra became a little concerned and did the Indra regular program, stealing the horse. So he stole the horse, and just like it happens to Shagar and that the whole story there, Maharaj, they couldn't find the horse. And the Brahmanas told the king, if you don't find the horse, great calamity, we can fulfill the yajna, and this tremendous calamity is going to fall into you and your kingdom. So you better find that horse. And if you cannot find the horse, you have to substitute the horse by a human being. You have to do a human sacrifice. Human sacrifice. So they look for the horse and look, and they couldn't find it. So the king decided to sacrifice his son. The son say, no way. So they just needed a human. So he went to the ashram of Kaushika Muni, of Richika Muni, that we just heard. Richika Muni had 3 sons, Yamanagni, Shunakshepa, and Shunka. So he say, please help. Please help. My father wants to sacrifice me to fulfill, this yajna. You have 3 sons. I give you 100,000 cows. So you please give one of your sons. Richika Muni and Satyavati, Brahmanas, they're very detached. They say, okay. Richika Muni say, well, I'm very attached to my eldest son, Yamadagni. Satyavati say, well, I'm very attached to my youngest son, Shunka. And meanwhile, Shunakshepa is in the middle, listening to this, and then he realized that, what to do. Okay, I accept. And, my father and my mother doesn't care for me, and there at least this guy who think that my life has some value, so let me volunteer to actually sacrifice myself. So they go. In the process, in the way of going to the sacrificial place, this was somewhere in South India, they pass by the place with Vishwamitra, not yet Muni, was there performing his austerities. And then he recognized, there's my uncle. And he's very powerful. Vishwamitra already had quite a story. Naveen Krishna Prabhu narrated a little bit of, some of the things that, the prowess of Vishwamitra with, creating a whole heavenly realm, like a fox. How you say fox? Like false heavenly realm. Not false. How you say that? Imitations, heavenly realm. And etc., etc. It was very powerful. So he went to his uncle, according this is to Valmiki Ramayan, which is a little different. Save me. Actually, he was starting to have second thoughts about his sacrificing business. He said maybe he can fulfill his world without having to sacrifice his life. So he went to Vishwamitra Muni and asked him for help. Vishwamitra say, yes, I will help you. And then he asked his 100 sons, actually 101. There was 50 older, 50 younger, and one in the middle, whose name is this, whose name was the one that is recorded, Madhuchanda. So he asked, one of you sacrifice yourself instead of Shunakshepa. And the sons became horrified. they say, you are willing to sacrifice one of your sons for someone that is not even your son. What is this? They disagree. They even went as far as saying, we consider this request as bad as eating dog food. Vishwamitra became very enraged and cursed them. In the Valmiki Ramayana and say that he cursed all of them to become dog eaters for 1,000 lives. And then he turned to Shunakshepa and said, I have a solution. When the sacrifice comes, you say these 2 mantras. Listen very careful. One mantra is for Indra, one mantra is for Vamanadev. Right at the moment where the last thing is going to be that you're going to be the last oblation to the fire, and then comes the sacrifice, you say these mantras. And then you'll be fine. So then it came that moment, and then Shunakshepa said the mantras, and Indra became very satisfied and blessed Shunakshepa to have a long life. And then the sacrifice was concluded. Shunakshepa didn't have to die, and everything was in place. So this is Shunakshepa. Vishwamitra, as narrated before, lost by the curse and by the curse and his all actions to save Shunakshepa, he lost all the powers that he accumulated, Brahminical powers, or the mystic powers that he accumulated through his austerities, and he had to start again. So the story of Vishwamitra is quite important. He's considered a very, very important sage. And his story is also extremely fascinating because he goes from the point of almost with an obsession that was like when an obsessive desire to actually for revenge and power and position. He went from that space to become the spiritual master of the personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra. And how he reached from point A to point B is quite amazing and also very instructive. His determination was peerless. And he also have His Holiness Ramapad Swami point out that he have a very, very amazing quality, which was compassion. He was ready to help anyone who will come to him requesting help. He will actually give everything he has in his possession to help someone, to help anyone who comes to him. Everything he has, he will sacrifice for that purpose. And he did it over and over and over to the saga of coming from point A to point B. Several times. So we hear the narration of how he was a powerful king that ruled the world. The son of King Gadi, and he was the next in succession and ruled the whole world. Powerful Kshatriya. Powerful. And then we hear the situation of him coming into the ashram of Vasishta Muni and the riffle that he had with Vasishtha Muni when he wanted to take away the Kamadhenu cow of Vasishtha Muni. You heard, you got the narration, to these days. And how Vasishtha Muni completely defeated him and humiliated him. He never was defeated, and he was able to be defeated, very easily by Vasishtha Muni. Then, when he decides that, so the more powerful than Kshatriyas are these tapasis. So by tapasya, I can become even more powerful. So I should do tapasya. So the next thing is that he went into the Himalayas and engaged in this very, very austere tapasya to please Lord Shiva, with the purpose of obtaining every divine weapon, every knowledge of warfare that is there in the heavenly planets, by all devatas, all personalities of the higher realms, including Lord Shiva. He wanted all the weapons, all the celestial weapons, and all the means to use them, and all the understandings of how to, go to war, for the purpose of getting back to Vasishtha. We heard that narration, no? You get, and then again, after he was able to get all those things from Lord Shiva, he went to challenge Vasishtha Muni, and Vasishtha Muni, just with his shaft, he took all the power of those weapons, and then completely defeated him. So now it became, okay, now I can see that being a Brahma is more powerful than being a Kshatriya, so I should become a better Brahmana than Vasishtha to defeat him. So that was his whole thing. So he started these tremendous austerities. He went to the south and he started these tremendous austerities. And that's when Trishanku came to him. We heard the narration of Trishanku. He was still not a Brahmana, he was still a Kshatriya, but by austerities he became so powerful that he was able to do that feat of, send this fellow, to copy heavenly kingdom. But when he did that, all those 1,000 years of austerities got lost. So he started again. So now he went to another place. And, somewhere in Rajasthan, somewhere like, and he started his austerities again. And then during that time was when Shunakshepa came. And then he lost it again after this whole cursing and the whole thing. Then he started again. And then in his austerities, he started to become so powerful that Indra started to become like nervous, and he sent Menaka. We hear that in the Bhagavatam, in the Mahabharata. He sent this heavenly damsel called Menaka, and Prabhupada quotes, we hear that, the tinkle of the ankle bells of Menaka completely derail the austerities and meditation of Vishwamitra Muni, and for 10,000 years he lived with Menaka. He fell down, he got together with Menaka, but from that union of Menaka and Vishwamitra Muni, the famous Mahabharata lady was conceived, Shakuntala, which became the mother of King Bharat, who this whole world is named after. So, it's all these connections, you know. So, you know, he realized after 10,000 years of living with Menaka, you know, oh, what am I doing? Am I supposed to, you know, try to become a Brahmarshi? That's my purpose. So he started again, another thousands of years. And then Indra, oh no, here it comes again. Okay, now let's send Ramba, this most beautiful heavenly lady. And then Ramba just said, oh, Vishwamitra, no, he's hot temper. He's going to burn me to ashes. I don't want to do that. And then Indra convinced her, say, don't worry, we go with you. We and Kamadev, you know, Cupid, we go together with you, and then we do the whole program. We're sure we get him. So Ramba consented. She went, started to do his tinkling, tinkling, dancing, dancing. And then Indra became a cuckoo bird, and he started to make these very sweet melodies. Cuckoo, cuckoo. And then Cupid was trying to shoot his arrows, but this time Vishwamitra Muni, Vishwamitra at that time, was not going to fall for lust, but he became angry, and he cursed Ramba to become a rock, a stone. And of course Indra and Cupid, they just fled the scene. But then he realized, because Brahma told him, you cannot become a Brahmarshi unless you have full control of all your senses. So he have control everything. He has controlled lust, but he hasn't been able to control his anger. Because he started again. He started again, and this time for 1,000 years he fasted. He didn't eat anything. And then again, Indra tried to test him. Just at the moment that he finished his austerities for 1,000 years of absolutely no eating, no water, no eating, and he was just going to break his fast, Indra came in the guise of a Brahmana and say, food, give me some prasadam. And then he also, Vishwamitra, along with this austerity of not eating, taking anything, he took Mauna Brata. He was not going to speak. So he was not able to say anything. He knew this is Indra, but because the austerity was to control himself, he couldn't say no to a Brahmana. So he just gave all the foodstuff that he prepared to Indra, and he started again, another 1,000 years of austerities. This time, not only not eating, he was hungry, but this time he stopped breathing. And then at one point, this smoke, fireless smoke, is starting to come out of his head. And the universe is starting to fill with this smoke. And people are starting to choke. And they came to Lord Brahma and saying, just give him whatever he wants. Just put an end to this. This guy, is becoming too powerful. He can, like choke us all out and destroy the whole thing. Just tell him whatever he wants, just say it. Give it to him. And Lord Brahma knew what he wants. He wants to become a Brahmarshi, a Brahma Rishi. How do you say Brahmarshi? And he came and said, yes, Vishwamitra, now you have done it. You are a Brahmarshi. Finally, he was accepted as a Brahmana, a Brahmarshi. But Vishwamitra said, He still had, you know, that chip in the shoulder. He said, let Vasishta come and tell me that I'm a Brahmarshi. So Vasishta was a Brahmarshi himself. He said, okay, sure, you're a Brahmarshi. And then it is explained that, you know, there's certain etiquette that is there, that because he still have that pride there, Vasishta Muni, Vishwamitra, Vasishta didn't treat him as an equal. But once he and, you know, Vishwamitra and Vasishta went face to face, then after Vasishta told him and he saw Vasishta's mood, there was a change of heart in Vishwamitra Muni. And then he gave up all pride, he became all that, and then at that moment, then Vasishta embraced him. They embraced each other, and then they became, you know, very fond of each other and connected. So later we hear that this Vishwamitra, but Vishwamitra means is, Vishwa means the universe, Mitra means the friend of all the universe. So his mood is a mood of service to others. That's Vishwamitra. And that was one of the good qualities that kept him, you know, pretty much in a very, very upward path. And the way he connected with Lord Ramachandra came from Vishwamitra. After obtaining his status as a Brahmarshi, he decided to go to this place called, he established what it was a Siddha ashram. A Siddha ashram, he was to perform sacrifices to actually benefit the whole world. But that's when Marichi and Shubahu, the two demons, who were the sons of Tataka, who was, you know, related someone to Ravana, this whole demoniac thing that was happening there, were disturbing the sacrifice. And then Vishwamitra Muni went to King Dasarat and asked for Lord Ramachandra to be to come and destroy these two demons. So once he associated with Lord Ramachandra, then from being a Muni, he came to the position of a pure bhakta. The pure devotion actually fully arise at the moment of connecting with Lord Ramachandra and that association. So anyway, a little bit of that. Any comment or questions? Yes, Jai Baladev.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for your class. You were mentioning genealogy. Of course, when there's so many names, it's hard for me to follow because there's so many pastimes. But the one thing I appreciated from this verse today is that it's an obstacle I think we all face, is that when someone else is distinguished more than us, we become envious. Or when we're distinguished more than someone else, we become proud. And we see this pastime happen with Hanuman the spider. He was distinguished and he became proud, but the spider never became envious. So there's a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt that I appreciated. She says, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And Martin Luther King, he had one of my favorite inspirational quotes, and then I have a question after that, he says, even if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should go out and sweep streets like Michelangelo painted, like Beethoven composed music, Like Shakespeare wrote poetry. Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't need to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't need to know the second theory of thermodynamics and physics to serve. You don't even have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. So my question is related to this point that I just read a verse from Prabhupada's commentary in the Adi Leela chapter 17, verse 44 related to this point. In that purport, Prabhupada mentions that a devotee should be even humbler than a street sweeper. And the reason I appreciate it is that when you're a street sweeper, you don't have any money, you don't have any power. So when you want to get something done or someone mistreats you, you let it go, you're tolerant. And so my question is that we see in the many past like Durvasamuni, Hiranyakashipu, what to speak of them? They had the association Lord, yet they still made a mountain out of a molehill. So what to speak of us? So how can one develop this humble mentality like a street sweeper? Because it's very difficult when you've been given so much, you know, in the material world as far as Krishna consciousness is concerned. You know, sometimes we make mountain out of a molehill, but if we were on our deathbed, cancer, none of this stuff would be, you know, it would be all meaningless if we were on our deathbed. So how do we keep things in perspective by not making a mountain out of a molehill? So that's my question, essentially.
Cultivation is cultivation, and cultivation. You have to endeavor with determination. Understanding is one of the 4 things that we have to develop in order to be able to chant. So, and the fact is that that's our constitution. You know, we're Anu Chaitanya, which means pretty tiny. So, so we have to cultivate humility. We have to nourish it by sadhana, by studying, by hearing, in one sense. Also, you know, doing all those things that are there prescribed by our Vaishnava acharyas, processes of purification. We have to take them and we have to do it. They're all very powerful. I share with you one experience with all of you that I have in my, you know, being in Vrindavan during Kartik. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of devotees. Thousands of devotees. The temple of the Krishna Balaram temple, the temple room, during Mongol Arctic, it was impossible to enter. And basically, you know, you're a speck, and then even to pay obeisances when the kirtan is finished, you couldn't pay obeisances. You know, you have to, you know, thousands of devotees, and you're one of them. No one knows you. You basically become nobody, you know. So it's a wonderful experience all of a sudden to, you know, Krishna allows you to actually have the feeling of this mixed feeling of how wonderful or how uncomfortable it's just to be nobody, you know, to be insignificant. There's so many talented devotees in the world, and you think you are, you know, you're a good kirtan leader. You know, so it puts it in perspective, actually, and it's very good. You know, you get to think, you know, actually, because the fact is that I may not think like that. I may think, you know, I'm not, you know, past this whole thing of false ego. It's definitely, you know, pretty much there, but I have it a bit in control. You know, I'm not so bad, you know, like some other people, you know. But boy, how entrenched this desire to be someone, desire to be recognized, to be appreciated, is there, entrenched. Krishna is kind to allow me to recognize that. So being nobody, being absolutely, and it's so graphic in Kartik when so many devotees is there, people trample you, someone cuts you like that, and then, one immediately think, you have this young, enthusiastic brahmachari just coming and almost, knocking you out, like that, and this kid can be my son, it's like, what is he doing, But you have to, understand, hey, I'm no one. I'm insignificant. My purpose is just to be, my only purpose is to please Guru and Krishna. And, as you said, as you quoted, I could be the sweeper, I could be who cares who I am? Really, I just have to have this purpose of pleasing Guru and Krishna. And not necessarily for the purpose for myself. Anyway, like that. We have to cultivate that. We have to cultivate. Any other thing? Okay, we can stop here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.